This is after the team orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kane, consulted doctors all over the country to find what would be best for Tua. They do believe that he can make a full recovery after having this hip surgery. And one of the main reasons why they believe that is because after the injury occurred in Starkville, Mississippi, they were able to go ahead and reduce the hip dislocation right there at the stadium. Then, of course, they put him in a helicopter, flew him here to Birmingham to St. Vincent's Hospital. So because time was of the essence and they were able to act quickly, they believe that that sets him up to be in a good position to be able to recover. You mentioned the visitors he's gotten. He's relying on a ton of that support for his good spirits right now. Jerry Jeudy being one of the visitors that came by, his star wide receiver, as well as Raekwon Davis. And in fact, he's been in the hospital playing his ukulele. He's been singing. He actually has a great voice. And so his family feels very confident that they're doing what's best right now. The plan is for him to be in Houston as long as he needs to recover from this surgery, and then Greeny, he will rehab back in Alabama. It could be a long road to recovery, but he does feel confident that he's doing what's best for him right now. And it will be interesting to see how Alabama responds without having their leader. He's so important to them.
Absolutely. All right, Laura, well done. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. Let me bring this to the table here because there are so many angles to this. First and foremost, it's just awful. I mean, it goes without saying. You just hate to see this. But, Pat, you cover the college game for us as much as anything else. Just what are the first thing that you think of when we look at this situation? What's the first thought that jumps to your head?
Well, I think it has to be the NFL future, what you have to think about here. Now, granted, Tua is not the tallest guy. He's an incredibly efficient passer whenever he has time. But this is in front of a four-star offensive line with the greatest weapons in college football. He's been injured on numerous occasions. So I think the best ability is
availability.
And for a good portion of his career here in college, where he is one of the greatest college football players of all time, nobody can doubt that, he has not been available. I just don't know how this helps him going forward. I think a lot of NFL teams, especially GMs, know that if they draft him and he gets hurt, the entire world will say, we told you. Isn't that exactly what happened in college? It happened to Sam Bradford in college. He got hurt, and in the NFL, he continued to get hurt. I think we want him to get healthy, obviously. The college football has lost a great one. But going forward, I think the NFL people have to take notice of this.
Yeah, I mean, this sucks because the reality is it's his fourth surgery in 24 games. Fourth surgery in 24 games at the college level. And to Pat's point, like, this impacts his future because if you're a head coach or a general manager, come draft time next year, you're not betting your job and the future of your job on performance. You're betting on it with health. And there's no evidence into his history at college that he can stay healthy for an extended period of time. Again, this sucks because it's one of the great quarterbacks, one of the best pure passers we've ever seen at the college football level. But the injury history is big, whether he recovers fully or not.
Yeah, I can tell you this. As a coach, you're sitting back, going to look at this injury right here. There's an old saying, if a guy gets hurt in college, he's going to get hurt in the NFL. And unfortunately, you mentioned it, 4 surgeries that he's had. This is real unfortunate. Now, I'm not saying this young man's done. Nobody knows the extent of this injury.
True.
What we're hopeful for now is that he can make a full recovery and get back. This actually may end up working in this young man's favor. Maybe a really good football team that had no business being able to pick up one of at least a top 5 player in the draft can benefit. Maybe it's like just throwing it out there. If New England picks him up, because Brady can't play forever. Somebody like that, a Phillip Rivers, some team that had no business being able to get this guy might be getting him.
Right, so the tanking for Tua conversation goes away. I get that. It is also, I think, important to bring up just this question on the air. I'm phrasing this in the form of a question. Is it reasonable to criticize Nick Saban for him being in the game at all?
Absolutely. I mean, because that was a game that first time Tua got hit, I was watching the game in my hotel room. First time Tua gets hit in this game, the linebacker wraps around. Look at Tua. Like, we've seen Tua get out of pocket easy before. He does not look right here. Todd McShay reported before the game that his warm-up didn't look right, and he just didn't look sudden. He didn't look strong. He doesn't look athletic here. In that moment, you were up. If Nick Saban was watching it in a way to do what was best for Tua and for the football team, you'd have to look at that honestly and go, he does not look right, and I don't know if he's able to protect himself.
D-Wood, you had a thought on that this morning that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, listen, I agree with what you're saying, but you also got to take it from the standpoint of we're on the outside looking in of the college football playoffs right now, and we know that in order for you to get back into it, style points matter. And what I mean by style points? Running up the score, try to impress a committee. So, yes, he looked like he, was hobbling there, but also in Nick Saban's mind, he's thinking, okay, we got to do something dramatically here in order to work ourselves back into the conversation of being in the top 4 teams in the college football playoffs.
Now, at this point, that feels like it is a long way off, right? The whole college football playoff conversation for Alabama feels like it went away.
Yeah, that's why this situation is tragic. It's tragic in every aspect, and it sucks for him, and it sucks for Alabama.
That's football, by the way, though. This is what happens in football. It's a physical sport. Things like this can happen. It just stinks for college football to lose one of its best players.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.